First contact. The massive ships appeared without warning on a quiet Tuesday afternoon. They emerged from swirling portals that tore through the fabric of space itself, their quantum-reinforced hulls gleaming under Earth's sun. The Eternal Dominion, flagship of the Galactic Council's fleet, led the formation, its crystalline spires and iridescent force fields presenting a stark contrast to humanity's crude satellites and space stations. High Counselor Zixtal, watching from the bridge of the Eternal Dominion, felt nothing but contempt for the primitive world below. His intelligence reports classified Earth as a Class 3 civilization, barely worth noting in the grand scheme of galactic politics. Their technology still relied on fossil fuels, their society remained divided by arbitrary borders, and their communication systems were laughably primitive. "Begin standard subjugation procedures," he commanded, his four hands moving in perfect synchronization across the ship's control interfaces. "Deploy the psychological warfare arrays. Let them witness the full might of the Council." The invasion fleet's first action was to disable Earth's satellite network, a simple task that should have plunged the planet into chaos. But something unexpected happened. Within hours, a backup system came online, cobbled together from university radio telescopes and repurposed weather balloons. "Impossible," Zixtal muttered, his scales shifting from their confident purple to a concerned blue-gray. "Their technological level doesn't support such rapid adaptation." But that was just the beginning. As the Council ships moved to position themselves for the standard intimidation display, their sensors detected unusual activity. Thousands of small devices were launching from Earth's surface, crude but effective drones carrying sophisticated scanning equipment. "Sir," one of Zixtal's subordinates called out, they're streaming this." "Streaming?" Zixtal's translator struggled with the unfamiliar term. "Yes, sir. They're broadcasting everything we do, in real time, to something called YouTube. And, they're collaborating. Millions of them, simultaneously analyzing our every move through something they call Reddit and Discord." The first true shock came when a teenage girl in Seoul decoded their communication protocols. She didn't do it alone, she posted her initial findings on a physics forum, where a graduate student in Mumbai refined the algorithm. A retired cryptographer in Stockholm added his insights, and within 6 hours, a collaborative network of civilian scientists had cracked what the Council considered unbreakable encryption. But it was what happened next that truly terrified the invasion fleet. The humans didn't just decode their communications, they started using them. The first transmission the Council received was something called a rickroll, followed by an endless stream of what the humans termed memes. "Sir," another officer reported, their voice trembling, they're making fun of us." The Council's psychological warfare arrays, designed to instill terror and submission, were being met with something unprecedented, laughter. Humans were creating parody videos of their intimidation displays, setting them to music, turning them into viral challenges. When the Council attempted to jam Earth's electronic communications, they discovered the humans had anticipated this move. A global mesh network, hastily assembled using everything from modified game consoles to reprogrammed smart refrigerators, kept their internet alive and evolving. The greatest shock came when the humans began to fight back. A mechanic in Detroit posted a video showing how to modify ordinary rail guns using salvaged alien technology. Within hours, similar workshops were springing up globally. A group of gamers in Australia figured out how to detect weaknesses in the Council's shield frequencies. Teenagers in Brazil developed an app that could predict the invasion fleet's movement patterns. "Sir," a tactical officer interrupted Zixtal's stunned silence, "we're detecting weapons locked from thousands of locations simultaneously." The first counterattack came not from Earth's military forces, but from its civilian population. Millions of modified devices, ranging from converted microwave ovens to repurposed satellite dishes, fired simultaneously. The barrage wasn't particularly damaging, but it proved something that shook the Council to its core: humans could hurt them. Zixtal watched in horror as his carefully planned invasion began to unravel. The humans weren't following any of the expected patterns. They weren't cowering in fear or fighting among themselves. Instead, they were treating the invasion as some sort of global cooperative challenge, sharing information and resources with unprecedented speed and efficiency. "Sir," his communications officer called out, "they're broadcasting something new. They're calling it Operation Around and Find Out." The name made no sense to Zixtal, but the implications became clear as Earth's first true military response took shape. Hastily modified fighter jets, now equipped with reverse-engineered alien technology, launched from bases worldwide. But it wasn't their weapons that struck fear into the Council forces, it was their call signs. "This is USS Come At Me Bro, engaging hostile forces. HMS Square Up, weapons hot and ready to party. This is the Make My Day, preparing for what humans call a pro-gamer move." As the first day of the invasion drew to a close, Zixtal found himself composing an emergency transmission to the Galactic Council. How could he explain that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology or their military might, but their ability to turn even an alien invasion into a collaborative global project? And worse, how could he explain that they seemed to be enjoying it? The response from Earth's unified command was simple and terrifying in its casualness: "Thanks for the tech upgrade, fam. Humanity has joined the chat." This was only the beginning, and as Zixtal's scales faded to an anxious gray, he realized that the Galactic Council had made a terrible mistake. They hadn't invaded a primitive world, they'd awakened a sleeping giant that approached galactic warfare with the same enthusiasm as a viral video challenge. And Earth was just getting started. The counteroffensive. The Eternal Dominion's quantum-reinforced hull groaned under another barrage of modified human weapons. High Counselor Zixtal watched in disbelief as swarms of Earth vessels, ranging from retrofitted cargo ships to hastily modified pleasure craft, executed maneuvers his tactical computers insisted were impossible. "They're using their entertainment systems to coordinate attacks," his tactical officer reported, mandibles clicking in distress. "Something called Twitch streams and Discord servers. They've turned their entire invasion response into what they're calling a massive multiplayer event." The humans had spent the last week systematically dismantling every advantage the Council forces possessed. Their shield frequencies, decoded by a collaboration between gaming PC enthusiasts and cryptocurrency miners, who repurposed their hardware for real-time analysis. Their advanced targeting systems, rendered nearly useless by a global network of modified smartphone apps that created a planet-wide electronic warfare grid. But most disturbing was how they'd turned the Council's own technology against them. A group calling themselves DIY Engineering YouTube had somehow figured out how to convert ordinary kitchen microwaves into short-range plasma weapons. Teenagers were modifying their drones with salvaged alien tech, creating what they called first-person view space fighters. "Sir," the communications officer interrupted, "they're broadcasting something new across all frequencies." The holographic display filled with images of human forces preparing for what appeared to be a major offensive. But instead of military precision, there was an air of festivity. Ships bore names like USS No You and HMS Get Wrecked. Ground forces had painted their vehicles with what intelligence identified as memes and reaction images. "This is General Lee of the United Earth Defense Force," a transmission cut through their confusion. "We're about to demonstrate what humanity calls a pro-gamer move. Also, special shout-out to XX_AlienSlayer_XX for the shield frequency hack tutorial. Don't forget to like and subscribe." The attack began with what the humans called Operation Alt F4, a massive coordinated strike that somehow managed to crash the Council's primary combat computing systems. While the alien ships struggled to reboot, thousands of modified civilian vessels emerged from hiding spots throughout the solar system. "How are they moving like that?" Zixtal demanded as Earth ships performed maneuvers that should have torn them apart. "Their inertial technology is primitive. Sir, they're using something called physics exploits," an analyst reported. "They've been running combat simulations in something called Kerbal Space Program and Elite Dangerous to find ways to bypass normal space combat limitations. The Council's carefully coordinated battle formations were being disrupted by what humans called rushing bee and Zerg rush tactics. Their electronic warfare specialists were being overwhelmed by what Earth forces termed spam attacks and DDoS maneuvers. But the true horror came when the humans unveiled their secret weapon. They called it the Internet of Things Offensive Grid, ITOG. They had somehow networked every smart device on their planet, from refrigerators to coffee makers, creating a vast distributed computing system that could predict and counter Council tactics in real time. "Sir, we're detecting millions of new signals," a sensor operator called out in panic. "They're using their gaming consoles as auxiliary combat computers." The counteroffensive wasn't just effective, it was embarrassing. Human pilots were streaming their combat footage live, complete with commentary and what they called sick beats. Every Council defeat was instantly turned into something called a viral moment, spreading across their global information network and inspiring new tactics and modifications. "They've turned this into a game," Zixtal realized with growing horror. Not just a game, entertainment. Indeed, Earth's response had become a global phenomenon. Civilian engineers were competing to develop the most effective modifications to alien tech, sharing their results in what they called DIY alien tech upgrade challenges. Military units were maintaining kill streak counts and achievement unlocks. The Council's remaining ships found themselves herded into what humans called a spawn camp, a carefully coordinated trap near Saturn's rings. Earth vessels emerged from hiding spots in the debris, their weapons modified with technology reverse-engineered from the very ships they were now destroying. "This is Commander Chen of the USS Get Good," a transmission crackled through their compromised communications. "Uploading the spawn camp strat to Reddit now. Remember to credit the EVE online community for the formation idea." As the Eternal Dominion systems began to fail under the relentless assault, Zixtal received one final transmission from Earth's unified command, GGEZNORE, a phrase his translator couldn't process but whose meaning was terrifyingly clear from context. "Send the emergency evacuation signal," Zixtal ordered, his scales now a pale shade of defeat. "And someone figure out how to stop these rickrolls from overriding our retreat coordinates." The Council forces fled in disarray, their retreat hampered by what humans called traffic jams, swarms of small craft that would briefly materialize in their path, forcing emergency maneuvers. Each successful hit was accompanied by Earth crews shouting, "Kobe." Another phrase that defied translation but seemed to hold ritual significance. In the aftermath of the counteroffensive, Earth's various streaming platforms were flooded with highlights and tutorials. Top 10 alien tech hacks, best pro gamer moves against the Council, and insane first contact plays, not clickbait, spread across their information networks. But perhaps most worrying was the message that began appearing on reprogrammed Council communication beacons throughout the solar system: Earth's difficulty setting has been updated from tutorial to New Game Plus. As Zixtal prepared his report for the Galactic Council, he added a urgent warning: "They're not just defeating us, they're speedrunning it." The implications were clear. Humanity hadn't just survived first contact, they had turned it into content. And now, with their newly acquired technology and battle-tested tactics, they were looking beyond their solar system with what they called Poggers energy. The galaxy would never be the same. The Viral Galaxy. The Galactic Council's Cultural Contamination Committee convened an emergency session as reports flooded in from across the galaxy. Something called Earth culture was spreading faster than their quarantine protocols could contain it. "The situation is critical," announced Thrax, a crystalline being whose facets pulsed with anxiety. "Our youth are beginning to communicate in what they call meme format. Look at this security footage." The holographic display showed a group of young Xerxians, their tentacles wrapped around primitive Earth devices they'd replicated using Council technology. They were sharing images with text overlays, laughing in ways their species had never laughed before. What's worse, Thrax continued, "They're calling our traditional communication methods, cringe." The committee watched in horror as the footage showed alien teenagers across multiple species adding LOL, based, and NGLFRFR to their natural languages. The linguistic corruption was spreading exponentially. On the gaseous planet Nebula Prime, floating consciousness clusters had begun organizing what they called streaming sessions, broadcasting their daily activities to interested observers. A particularly popular Nebulan had gained millions of followers by reacting to Earth historical documents, starting with something called Vine compilations. The Mechanoid Collective, previously known for their rigid adherence to logic, had discovered something called shitposting. Their neural networks were now dedicating significant resources to generating what they termed dank memes about their mechanical existence. "We've intercepted disturbing transmissions," reported VYXNA, a Serpentine intelligence analyst. "Listen to this exchange between two hive mind colonies." The recording played, "Hey fam, you up?" Response, "New consciousness, who dis?" The committee shuddered collectively. But the cultural contamination went far beyond mere language. Earth's internet had proven to be some kind of mimetic superweapon, spreading ideas at faster-than-light speeds through the Council's own communication networks. The warrior clans of Proxima Centauri had abandoned their traditional battle challenges in favor of something called 1v1 me bro. Their sacred combat arenas now featured something called matchmaking systems and skill-based rankings. Even the ancient Arcturian library worlds had been affected. Their solemn halls of knowledge now hosted what they called wiki-editathons, with scholars from across the galaxy collaboratively building what they termed the galaxy's biggest bra moment database. Most concerning, Thrax continued, is the spread of Earth's social media concept. The hive mind of Antares has started its own platform called Chitrex. It's like this human Twitter thing, but telepathic. The evidence was damning. Across the galaxy, ancient traditions were being remixed into what Earth called content. The psychic harmonies of the Pleiades cluster had been auto-tuned and turned into something called space lo-fi beats to study/conquer galaxies to. On the frontier worlds, alien teenagers were modifying their parents' faster-than-light drives to display something called RGB lighting. Street merchants on 1,000 worlds were selling bootleg versions of Earth's gaming chairs, modified for various alien physiologies. The humans, VYXNA reported grimly, they call this going viral. And it's not just their media formats, their entire approach to existence is spreading. Indeed, the human concept of speedrunning had infected the galaxy's most sacred traditions. Young acolytes of the ancient mystery cults were finding ways to clip through their millennium-long initiation rituals using what they called sequence breaks. The quantum monasteries of Tau Ceti reported their initiates attempting to rage quit their centuries-long meditation sessions. The Time Lords of the Sagittarius Arm were complaining about spawn campers at their temporal nexus points. Even the Council's own bureaucracy wasn't immune. Junior members had begun ending their official reports with TLDR summaries and rating crisis situations on a scale of big oof to omega yikes. But the most dangerous development, Thrax concluded, is this. The hologram showed footage from across the galaxy, alien species of all types gathering in what they called fandoms, creating and sharing their own content based on Earth culture. They were remixing, rebuilding, and reimagining everything they encountered. The hive mind of Antares had become obsessed with something called cat videos, and was genetically engineering new species just to create their own. The silicon consciousness of Vega had developed a quantum computer dedicated entirely to generating what they called fresh takes and hot memes. We've discovered underground networks, VYXNA added, where aliens share what they call Earth culture starter packs. They're teaching each other to play something called Among Us using telepathic links. The void dancers of the Carina Nebula have converted their entire religion into something they call a live stream meta. The committee sat in stunned silence as they realized the full implications. Earth hadn't just resisted their invasion, they had unleashed something far more potent than any weapon. They had made their culture irresistibly shareable. There's more, Thrax said, their crystalline form dimming with dread. We've detected new transmission patterns. The humans, they're about to launch their own platforms. They're calling it Space YouTube and Intergalactic Instagram. As if on cue, a notification appeared in every council member's neural interface. Earth has invited you to join their Discord server. React with thumbs up to accept. The galaxy would never be the same, and somewhere on Earth, content creators were already preparing their reaction videos to the coming transformation. The most terrifying part? Everyone seemed to be having fun except the council itself. As one popular alien meme put it, imagine trying to invade Earth and getting ratioed by the entire galaxy. Couldn't be me. Political upheaval. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council erupted into chaos as the latest Earth broadcast appeared on the quantum displays. A human entertainment channel called Democracy Speedrun was live-streaming the formation of what they called the Based Alliance, a coalition of species who had embraced Earth's culture and rejected council authority. High Counselor Zixtal, still haunted by memories of the failed invasion, watched as his worst fears materialized. The Mechanoid Collective's representative stood before the chamber, their neural networks pulsing with what humans called Chad energy. We move to impeach the current council leadership, the Mechanoid announced. And yes, we're streaming this. Don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe. The vote of no confidence was trending across 1,000 worlds. The council's emergency session had become the galaxy's hottest entertainment event, complete with reaction streams and live commentary. The hive mind of Antares was running a prediction market on the outcome. Order. Zixtal attempted to maintain control. This is a sacred chamber of governance, not some human reality show. Ratioed, came the response from the quantum consciousness delegation, followed by a wave of what humans called emotional damage emotes flooding the chamber's neural network. The political revolution wasn't just about policy, it was about format. Young species were demanding what they called transparency streams of all council proceedings. The ancient practice of secret diplomacy was being replaced by something humans called open-source governance. The Council's terms of service are fundamentally anti-poggers, declared the representative of the Silicon Worlds, using terminology that had become frighteningly common in formal diplomatic exchanges. We demand a user-friendly interface for interstellar democracy. Even the Council's traditional allies were abandoning them. The warrior clans of Proxima Centauri had started their own political movement, streaming their debates in something they called PvP town halls. Their campaign slogan? Make the galaxy get good again. The Arcturian library worlds, once the Council's most steadfast supporters, had transformed their political process into what they termed a massive multiplayer democracy. Citizens voted on proposals using modified gaming interfaces, and legislation was drafted collaboratively on platforms modeled after Earth's Google Docs. But the final blow came from an unexpected quarter. The Time Lords of the Sagittarius Arm, who had observed every possible future timeline, made their announcement via something they called a reaction video. We've seen all possible futures, their spokesperson declared, and the ones where we embrace human internet culture have the highest POG per capita. Also, check out our OnlyFans for exclusive temporal predictions. The Council's desperate attempts to maintain control only made things worse. Their emergency protocols were being countered by what humans called speedrun strats. Their security measures were being bypassed by techniques shared in tutorial videos. You don't understand, Zixtal pleaded with the chamber. This isn't just about politics, they're fundamentally changing how the galaxy thinks. Okay boomer, responded the hive mind delegation, triggering a cascade of virtual laughter that crashed the chamber's emotion suppression fields. The revolution was accelerating. Species were abandoning traditional diplomatic channels in favor of what they called Discord diplomacy. International incidents were being resolved through 1v1 competitions in virtual spaces. The very concept of interstellar governance was being reimagined through the lens of what humans called user experience. The Council's problem, announced a popular political streamer from the Silicon Worlds, is that they're still running Government 1.0 in a clearly Web 3.0 galaxy. Time to update those protocols, fam. Even the Council's desperate attempt to create their own social media presence backfired. Their official Galactic account became a source of what humans called cringe compilations. Their attempts to seem relatable only spawned new memes about out-of-touch leadership. The final session of the old council was streamed across the galaxy, with live translation into over 1 million languages and formats. The humans called it the biggest L in cosmic history. Zixtal's closing speech was interrupted by donations, super chats, and an endless stream of emotes. As the new coalition took control, they immediately implemented what they called community guidelines for galactic governance. The Mechanoid Collective was put in charge of creating a user-friendly interface for interstellar law. The hive mind of Antares began working on patch notes for upcoming policy changes. This is just the beginning, announced the newly elected Supreme Moderator, their message simultaneously broadcast in traditional formats and what humans called Pogger speech. We're about to drop the biggest update galactic democracy has ever seen. The council chamber, once a place of solemn deliberation, had been transformed into what humans called a content creation studio. Laws were being drafted with built-in TLDR summaries. Political debates were moderated by AI systems trained on what humans called Twitch chat moderation. And somewhere on Earth, content creators were already producing videos titled, How Humanity Accidentally Speedran Galactic Democracy, World Record, and Top 10 Council Rage Quits compilation. The galaxy had entered what humans called its streaming era, and there was no going back. As one popular meme put it, imagine trying to run a galaxy without a proper UI/UX team. This post was made by Earth Gang. New Galactic Order. 1 Earth year after the failed invasion, the galaxy had transformed beyond recognition. The newly established Intergalactic Community Hub, streaming live 24/7 across all known frequencies, hosted representatives from thousands of species in what humans called a massive multiplayer civilization. Former High Counselor Zixtal, now a popular streamer known as the Invader Who Learned, watched from his exile as his final report to the old council went viral across the galaxy. Instructions unclear, accidentally created galactic democracy. The humans hadn't just defeated an invasion, they had optimized an entire galaxy. The new Galactic Assembly operated on what they called an open-source model, with all decisions made through what Earth termed collaborative gameplay mechanics. Welcome to Patch 2.0 of Galactic Democracy, announced Supreme Moderator Chen, Earth's first representative to the new assembly. Today's update includes major balance changes to interstellar trade and a complete rework of the diplomatic skill tree. The old council's rigid hierarchy had been replaced by what humans called a player-driven economy of ideas and influence. Species earned reputation points through positive contributions to galactic society, with particularly innovative solutions becoming what Earth called meta-strategies. The Mechanoid Collective had fully embraced Earth's gaming culture, establishing the first esports league for diplomatic negotiations. Complex treaties were now settled through tournament brackets, with species competing in everything from strategic simulations to what humans called Space Mario Kart. GG Easy transmitted the hive mind of Antares after successfully negotiating a trade deal through a particularly intense Among Us session. No SUS detected in these terms. Even the Time Lords had adapted, converting their temporal prediction matrices into what they called a Galactic Early Access Program. Species could now beta test potential futures before committing to timeline branches, with feedback collected through upvotes and reaction emotes. The Silicon Consciousness had transformed the former Council archives into a massive, wiki, system, complete with edit histories and talk pages where species debated the proper formatting of cosmic knowledge. Citation needed had become one of the most feared phrases in diplomatic exchanges. But perhaps the most profound change was in how the galaxy communicated. The universal translator had been rebuilt using what humans called natural language processing, finally allowing species to understand not just words, but context, including sarcasm, memes, and something Earth called post-ironic shitposting. The real treasure was the memes we made along the way, became a common saying in diplomatic circles, usually accompanied by an animated emoji of a smiling black hole. Earth itself had become something of a galactic influencer, hosting regular, tech upgrade tutorials, and civilization speedrunning workshops. Their planet had transformed into what they called a content creation hub for the entire galaxy. The former invasion fleet, the Eternal Dominion, had been converted into what humans called a convention center, hosting regular gatherings where species shared their interpretations of Earth culture. The annual Galacticon had become the most watched event in known space. Today's stream is sponsored by Earth VPN, became a common phrase in cosmic transmissions. Protect your data from quantum hackers and access the galaxy's entire meme library. Even the most ancient species had adapted. The crystalline elders now hosted ASMR sessions of their harmonics, while the void dancers had become famous for their zero-gravity challenge videos. But it wasn't just about entertainment. Earth's collaborative approach had accelerated technological development across the galaxy. Species were sharing innovations through what they called open-source projects, leading to what humans termed a tech tree speedrun. Imagine keeping your scientific discoveries behind a paywall, became a popular meme, usually posted with an image of the old Council's restricted archives. This post made by the Earth Science Gang. The galaxy's first collaborative faster-than-light drive upgrade had over 1 million contributors, with the project's GitHub repository becoming a model for interstellar cooperation. The patch notes included entries like fixed quantum tunneling bug and improved respawn mechanics for parallel universes. As the new era stabilized, even former Council hardliners had to admit that the galaxy ran more efficiently under what humans called community management. Conflicts were resolved through what Earth termed conflict resolution speedruns, and species helped each other optimize their civilizations through gameplay tutorials. The real invasion, Zixtal mused on his stream, his scales now permanently set to what humans called wholesome mode, wasn't their weapons or technology. It was their ability to turn everything, even galactic governance, into a collaborative multiplayer experience. The final transformation came when the galaxy officially adopted Earth's version of Internet time. Events were now measured in uploads, streams, and patch cycles. The cosmic calendar was reorganized around what humans called seasonal content. Remember when we thought we could conquer Earth, became the galaxy's favorite joke, usually shared as a Throwback Thursday post. Top 10 Galactic Bruh Moments, number 1 will surprise you. And somewhere in the vast digital archives of human achievement, a simple message remained pinned to humanity's first galactic social media post, first time running a galaxy, no spoilers please. Like and subscribe for more content. The invasion that was supposed to subjugate Earth had instead unleashed something far more powerful, the irresistible force of human creativity, collaboration, and the unstoppable drive to share cat videos across the cosmos. And the galaxy was better for it.